Anyone think my kingdom's coming through?
I can't hear you.
I'll take Sue Brown's to the
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Can just give an hour's talk, but that's the talk today.
Well, everybody's gone quiet, so I suppose we better start. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Wow, thank you. That's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I know I keep saying this, and I know it's boring, but do you know what? When I see this church with this attendance, I'm just so eternally grateful I'm here to share that time with you. It's beautiful. Great big warm welcome to our wonderful demonstrator today. Yes, you.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Mark Stone. Yeah.
Who's that?
Mr. Mark Stone.
Thank you.
And again, please, I do remind you all, this service is made up by you. It's not us up here. We only work with what you bring to the table. So this is your service, your time, your community to come together and celebrate that joy of the knowledge and the evidence that life is continual. And mentioning that word of community, thank you so much everybody who's brought in whatever they can for the barbecue after the service today. It's wow. I won't have to shop for a month living in that kitchen. No, joking. Obviously we're keeping an eye on the weather. If it doesn't play ball, we'll bring the tables into the back room. But we know it's going to be sunny, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Wonderful. Shut up, Lawrence, I'm being told. You didn't have to.
I see rebellion in the ranks
No,
this
no,
morning.
yeah.
Someone's not getting trifle later.
It came from the market gallery. Thanks, Ted. So, without further ado, and please, some of you may be sat there thinking, have I just walked into a church service or not? Yes, you have.
Mm.
Because you know what? Religion, philosophy, whatever way of life you follow should be a joy.
Mm.
And if it's not a joy, maybe you want to consider that.
Mm.
But yes, we act in reverence. Once the service commences, we celebrate that union again between the two worlds. We accept and acknowledge that divinity of the God of our own understanding. But nobody says you can't have a laugh while you're doing it. So enjoy the service. I will now hand over to the beautiful Mark for our opening blessing.
Lovely.
Thank you, sir.
Bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if for just one moment we can close our eyes but open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, as we join together for our service this morning, allow us to take time to step aside from the hectic nature of everyday life. Allow us to place aside the cares and the worries that we may be facing and just enter into this moment of pure peace and stillness, to tap into that beautiful healing power, to tap into that wisdom and guidance from the other world, to allow us in these moments to consider the spirit within rather than the life without. Allow us in these moments to reach out to that divine and loving parent, to draw upon that love, that support, that tenderness, to let us experience that power of unconditional love that allows us to be who we are, to just be in this moment the true and loving spirit that we are, without need for change, without need for reason or excuse, but just to find the peace and the stillness and the oneness with the divine and with our own self. And allow us in this time to be also channel of healing for others, that we may send out our thoughts of love and support to all those throughout this world who are in need, to allow that healing to touch their hearts and minds and bodies, to uplift their spirits, and even if they do not know or believe or understand in such things, they will be aware that something, somewhere is supporting them. So allow us, as always, in this time, to find whatever it is that we need within these moments of stillness, within this moment of connection. And as always, we place ourselves in your loving care, knowing that all that is said and done is said and done in the truth, the love, and the light of the other world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark. Beautiful. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And we now bring our hearts, our minds, our thoughts, our very intent into the art of healing. Again, we need this reminder that healing is not a gift to a few. Healing is not something that can only be practiced in certain circumstances. Healing cannot be reached on your mobile phone.
Well, it can.
I keep telling her this.
Thank you.
Don't worry.
Healing is that God-given right to all of us. Healing is that expression of love. And we can all, in our own way, express love to one another, to the animal kingdom, to the environment, wherever you are led. So during this time, we ask you to send out those thoughts. We send you to send out that energy, because love is an energy. It is palpable. And the healing will follow and work in accord with the great plan of all things. We also invite you during this time, if there is anybody in particular whose name you would like mentioned, simply raise your hand. And when I point to you, just call out their name. That is all that is required. The intelligence of spirit knows and understands and acts in accord. So enjoy this time of peace, of meditation, of reflection, wrong teeth, and healing. Thank you.
I know you did.
divine and infinite Spirit, God of our own understanding, we thank you for this time of compassion, this time of caring, this time of love, working in and through this energy. We send out that love, that healing, that upliftment to all those places and names which we have heard. Amen. Now I'd like to hand over to Mark for a reading, if you have one, followed by your philosophy.
Lovely, thank you, Lance.
sir.
Good morning, everyone. The piece I'd like to read for you today is called I Am There. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not recognize my works. I am not strange, I am not mysteries, and only in absolute stillness, beyond the self, can you know me as I am, and then but as a feeling and a faith. Yet I am there, yet I hear, yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you and you are in me. And only in your mind can you feel separate from me. For only in your mind are the mists of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears, and when you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do it all, and I am in all. And though you may not see the good, good is there, for I am there. I am there because I have to be. I am there because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning, and only out of me does the world take form, and only because of me does the world go forward. I am the law on which the movement and the stars and the growth of living cells are founded. I am the love that is the law's fulfilling. I am assurance. I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love that you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. And though you fail to find me, I do not fail you. Though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers, because I know you, because I love you. Beloved, I am there. And I was drawn to that reading when I was sitting and speaking to the spirit world, because it's interesting in our movement of spiritualism and in its unfoldment that you hear many different people's ideas on, what they feel about the spirit world. But it's interesting how, as time's moved on, I've noticed that a lot of people will talk about, well, I believe in the spirit world, but I'm not sure what I believe about God or if I even believe in a God. And also, a lot of time and focus is spent on out there. What can I sense? Who can I feel? What can I know out there? When actually the greatest part of our journey with spiritualism should be the inward one. Not only to understand the spirit that you are, what it means to be a spirit in the body. What is that spirit? How does it manifest? If you look in a mirror and you see the body, that's not you. That's the vehicle that you're driving. And we all have very varying different models of cars in varying state of goodness or decrepitude, depending on how you're feeling. But the spirit within you is something else. The spirit within you is something greater. And so many people look out there to the spirit world rather than looking in here. There's a wonderful medium many, many years ago called Nan Mackenzie, who's a trance medium and a platform medium. And for a long time, she kept saying to the spirit world, I want to know who my main guide is. Who is it that truly guides me? And one night, she was awoken from sleep hearing a woman's voice calling her name. Nan, wake up, Nan. It is I who guides you. It is I who is the main guide. And when she opened her eyes from sleep and looked, there she was standing at the end of the bed, talking to her. Her own spirit manifesting itself to say, it's I that guides you, I'm the main guide. And you see, so often we think of the other world as knowing more and seeing more and feeling more, forgetting that we're part of it. You didn't start here. Your journey started there. This is the journey through life. But that passing is the journey home to what we've already known before. Within our understanding, to know that within us, as Lawrence said, healing is a natural right and part of who we are. Mediumship and psychic awareness, likewise, is a part of who each and every one of us are. It may be that there are those who it's more prevalent in, more predominant in, it's stronger in. But if you are a spirit in the body, then communication with the spirit world is your natural state, isn't it? It's naturally who you are. Healing and the ability to heal is naturally who you are. It's not something that's bestowed upon a chosen few who are extra special in some way. It's the normal state of being as a spirit in the body. But so often you hear people saying, oh, I'm nothing special. I don't have any special gifts. Of course you do, because you're here in the world to bring gifts of all sorts. When I hear someone sit at a piano and play, I'm envious, because they have this wonderful gift to play. But of course, they got there not only through aptitude, but through practice. And when I stopped playing on my Bon Tempi, that was the end of my practice with them. But like anything in life, it's something that we are drawn to, that we work with. Anyone can sit and become aware. Anyone. But it depends on that time we put in to looking within. To start to know that the power that is there within the spirit is stronger than anything else, and combined with the power of the mind, how transformative it can be. Because your mind is that conduit in between. What you tell yourself, what you think about, what you say. I was at an event yesterday, and the amount of people that said, oh, I'm developing mediumship, but I'm blocked. And I don't like the word blocked, because the only place a block ever exists in your life is here. And I say, so what's your block? Oh, I don't know. I said, yes, you do. We always know really down at heart what the problem is, but we choose to ignore it and go, oh, I don't know what the problem is. We always know what the problem is, deep down, if we're willing to look within and be honest. And often, the problem is a lack of self-love and self-worth. Not trusting oneself, not believing in oneself, not believing in one's own mind and experiences of awareness. And so our work should turn to that inner work, to self-love, self-nurture, to take care of oneself. So many people, I so want to help everybody. And then my next question is, so what are you doing to help yourself? What love are you giving to yourself? You want to support everybody else, but how do you support yourself? How do you turn up for you? Oh, yes, but I don't matter. You do. The whole of the universe revolves around you because you do matter. And if you want to be of this wonderful service to other people, you have to first of all be of service to yourself, to support yourself, to nurture yourself, to love yourself, to care for yourself, to know that you are worthy. How many people can actually look in the mirror and say, I love myself and I am worthy of love, without it bringing up something from within? And you see, then when we look at this other aspect of the divine, I have people that say, well, I believe in the spirit world, but I'm not sure I believe in God or what God is. And I'm not talking about biblical God here, by the way. So whatever your conception of God is, however you come to know God, the God of your own understanding, God or goddess, non-gender specific, neutral, however you want to see, amorphous blob on a cloud, I don't care, infinite mind, great spirit, whatever it may be. But to say that you believe in spirit but you don't believe necessarily in the divine is like saying, well, I believe in the lamp and I believe in the light bulb, but I'm not really sure whether I believe in electricity. Because I can't see it, can't touch it, so therefore how do I know? And the thing is that we need to find, especially those who wish to develop and unfold from within them what is there, we need to find that aspect of the divine within us as well. That spirit is connected to the divine. You are not separate from it. Unless, as the poem said, you start to think of separation. Maybe we've been brought up, I spoke to a gentleman yesterday who was brought along to the psychic fair by his partner, and he was brought up a very staunch Catholic, and we had a very long discussion. And he said, even now, in my late 50s, I still have this, you know, all of the things that was drummed into me as a child by the nuns at the school. The things that if you do this, you're going to go to hell and nowhere else. If this happens, you go to purgatory. If this happens, you go... And I said, but that's been drummed into you so often. That fear is always there in the back of the mind until you learn that that divine power is loving and caring. And I said, but you have to come to know it for you. Many, many years ago, I did a course and a policeman came on the course. And the minute I used the G word, his body language changed. He tensed up, he folded his arms, he crossed his legs. And I went, are you all right? And he went, I've got a question. What if I don't believe in God? What then? And I said, well, I'm not telling you you have to. What I want you to be is open to the idea of finding out who and what God is for you. Because every single day, here's an analogy, every single day you have to plug in your mobile phone, those of you that have them, don't you? Because if you don't plug them in, what happens? The battery runs out, we then can't communicate, we can't do anything. So therefore, to plug back into source, to sit and blend with the divine, to bring that love and that light into the core of our being, is transformative, is building of a strength and a power, which we can all do. Again, not limited to only a few. And he didn't look like he was going to accept it. But anyway, we went on through the rest of the day. I said, just be open. I'm not telling you what God is or what God isn't. But what I want you to do is be open to what you find this divine power as being. So anyway, at the end of the day, we did a meditation where we connected to divine power, etc. And you could see when he was sitting that something was touching and moving him in his emotions and in his thoughts. But when we went round the group, he chose not to share. He said, oh, things happen, but I don't really know what I experienced. And I tried to coax it out and it wasn't happening. So I thought, okay, that's fine. You stay on where you are, so long as you're happy. Anyway, 2 weeks later, I received an email from PC 102.110.1010, whatever. Dear Mark, I have been sitting in the power every day as you have instructed. And I thought, oh God. It was only a very short email, by the way. It was only 3 lines. And every day when I sit, I see a ball of sunshine, and out of the ball of sunshine swoops down an eagle that lifts me up and for the remainder of the time while I sit, nothing else in the world matters. Thank you for helping me find my God. And I never saw him again. He came, found that moment, and that's all he needed, was to find something that changed and transformed those things in his life. You see, everyone kind of assumes that when we talk about the unfoldment of the Spirit, that we're talking about trying to make people mediums on a platform or healers in a church. What we're actually talking about is transforming your life to be impressed and inspired by not only the divine power, not only the spirit world, but to be empowered and inspired by your own spirit. To follow the inner guidance, the inner voice. To be able to be a transformative power in this world for other people, however that manifests. Because, you know, it's not always about going up to people and saying, oh, don't worry, Granny loves you. All will be fine. It's nice when we hear those things. But isn't it nice when someone shows us kindness in the world? Doesn't it make our day better just for someone to do something nice, to acknowledge us, to talk to us, to have a conversation, to help us? I was at an event and the lady was putting up one of these funny banner things, you know, that they retract about. And she was struggling, and as I came into the room, I was bringing my stuff in, and there were loads of people around her, but no one was paying any attention to the fact that this poor woman was nearly falling off chairs. And I said to her, do you want me to help you? She was like, oh, no, it's fine. I said, no, look, I'm tall, long arms. That's why I was born that way, so I could get to the top of these things. Come here. And afterwards she said, that's so kind. Nobody's helped me out at an event before to do that. And I thought, how sad is that? That other people see someone else struggling, and yet they're more interested in, oh, I've got to get my stuff set up. I can't spend a moment helping someone else. And yet that's at a spiritual fair. Speaks volumes, doesn't it? Because to help someone else doesn't take much. But what it takes is an observation of life going on around you and paying attention to the people that are in need. And need doesn't have to be great. Need can be small. Need can be small. And the solutions to that need can likewise be small but have a great impact. Going into this power, sitting within this light, asking for this love and the support of the other world is not a selfish thing. Loads of people say, I feel like I'm not worthy, I don't deserve. So many other people need in the world. Do you know the spirit world and the divine has an unlimited capacity to love and support? You're not going to run it out. It's not the national grid. We're not going to have goodness and kindness blackouts because everyone's using too much of it. The importance is that we actually start to live from a more spiritual place. You know, I hear people say, oh, well, I'm not psychic and I'm not really very spiritual. I just try to live my life in a kind way and help people. And I went, sounds like spirituality to me. Sounds like awareness to me, because you're aware of the needs of others and aware of the needs from within. So as you look at what this is, don't think of it as just communication with the other world. Think of it as communication inwards. What does my inner voice, what does my inner spirit say and think? Think of it as communication in the world. What do I put into the world in thoughts and words and deeds? When I talk to people, when I interact with people, what do I bring? What do I leave behind me when I've gone? Your words, your deeds are your legacy in life. I went to a funeral on Friday, and it was so interesting hearing people talk about this man and his journey and their memories of him and their thoughts about him. And you wonder, how many of you told him how wonderful he was when he was here? And I'm sure many did, because he was greatly loved. But how often do we tell people how important they are? How they've done such lovely things in our life? Or even when people do something for us, to say to them, do you know, that's so kind of you. Just to give them the encouragement and the thanks. We forget. We should be more kind. We should be more caring. We should be more compassionate. Because we don't know. If we just look around at people, we think, oh, they're all right. There's nothing going on with them. You know, oh, they're in the life of Riley. You don't know unless you feel, unless you sense and know, and you think, that person needs me. And then you start to inquire, how are you? What's going on? And then all of a sudden you can be there for them. That's awareness. That's sensitivity. In action in life, not just on a platform. Not just in a healing group or a circle. But actually to be aware of life, to be observant of life. To be a force for change in this world. But that isn't about communication there. It's about communication through you. How many of you have got something to share but doubt that anyone else wants to listen? And think, oh, no one wants to listen to me. Nobody wants to hear what I've got to say. I'm sure there are loads of things in your life that not only would fascinate someone, but would also help someone. What you've gone through, what you've experienced, what you've seen, what you've known will be remarkably helpful to someone else. Whatever you've gone through and got beyond, you can be the light at the end of someone else's tunnel that says, come with me, you can make it, you can keep going. It's not going to get the better of you. I'm the living proof, because here I am. And I'm here to help you get beyond it too. Let us share from in here what we know. Let us share from in here the love and the healing and that light and that power. Our very presence transforms the lives of others. Whether we're sitting there and having a cup of tea, whether we're giving them healing, whether we're giving them a message, or whether we're just having a good old laugh, our presence changes and transforms the lives of others. And the more we work on that light and that power that we are, the more that we let our spirit shine, everyone we meet is transformed by our presence. And that's not an arrogant thing. That's the whole purpose of what we do, to shine our light brighter, to touch the hearts and minds of everyone we meet, not by saying, I'm amazing and I'm spiritual and I'm just going to transform your life, but just by being you, the wonderful, bright, beautiful spirit that you are. I'll leave those thoughts with you and say good morning.
This you can go home now. Seriously, that was absolutely beautiful, Mark. And I will explain why I was grinning like a Cheshire cat.
Were you?
It was not track pinned. There is a new thing that's going to start happening in the church, and it is based exactly on what you were just
fabulous.
talking about. And
Well,
I
there
was
you
just
go.
sat there going, this is
Thank
great.
you.
This is great. Thank you for the confirmation. So we're now going to have our piece of music for the day, during which a collection will be taken. Today's collection is going to our chosen charity, which is the Roots to Roots, which is an amazing facility for those without homes at the moment. Based in Poole, and just a stunning place. If anybody's ever going past, drop in, because they love showing off what they've got in there. And it is incredible what they do. So, during this piece of music, Sue will be coming round, taking your money, and just enjoy the music. Thank you. That was fabulous. Oh my God. That's exactly what we thought about. before I hand over to Mark for the demonstration of evidential mediumship today, you know what's coming next, do you not? Yes. This is that three-way conversation. You know, this is this blessed time. This is the miracle of the religion and the philosophy of spiritualism, that we can actually give the evidence of what we talk about, the continuity of life. And this is that time where, through the mediumship of Mark, you can have that conversation again with those people that we miss so dearly. Just that reassurance, that message of love, that message that they are still a part of our lives. So you need to work to do this, don't you? Yes. Yes. So if Mark should come to you, a nice clear response with a yes, no, or a maybe. Just, you know, use your God-given voices. So it's a
Yes. No. Maybe.
Brilliant. You didn't get this anywhere else, do you?
No. What
Mark,
can you say?
okay,
Lovely.
quite a
So,
lot, some people.
I know. So, ladies and gentlemen, as Lawrence was saying, for those of you that may be newer to spiritualism, sometimes as mediums we know exactly who we want to talk to. Sometimes we have information, and if it makes sense, then put your hand up and say, yes, I understand that. Please don't sit on your hands thinking, I'll just wait longer, I'll just wait longer. If it makes sense to you, then claim it. I'm aware of a lady and gentleman that are coming close to me here, and I'm aware that this couple emigrated. You know, when not when people went to Australia because of crimes, but when people went to Australia because, you know, they had they went out there to start the new life. And I have this couple, and I keep seeing this photograph of this lady and gentleman and a child stood on a lawn in front of a house, and it's like they sent this photograph back home here to show where they'd started their new life and how proud they were. And I feel that someone here must either have that photo or know of it and know that it connects to this family member that went across to Australia. Who would understand that, please? I'm so glad none of you. Come on then.
This is that £10 pond.
Oh, do you know, I haven't watched that yet. I want to watch it because I've had family that went there. But I keep things if I want to go towards the back of the room here. So no one understands where family went across. Maybe.
Is it definitely Australia you're seeing?
I assume it's Australia. Because the only other place that would go in my mind would be Canada. But it's Australia that I feel I'm with, okay? Because when I sat in the car, I thought, is that Australia? But it looks very bright, very sunny. So Sue, you're saying maybe. Who else? Maybe. Oh, maybes. So maybe they went to Australia. Maybe they never went at all. I know that with this couple, there is a long association of communication with them after they passed, but I feel that the photo I am seeing is definitely them dressed in 1950s apparel, so I know it's a long time back. And I know that also with them, I keep feeling that this is a little boy that's in the photo with them. And I feel so there is one child, but I keep seeing as if it's a little boy. Not sure?
I'm not sure. It was about 1950s.
These.
Australia.
My parents emigrated to the States in the 50s.
But this photo with the one child and then stood on the lawn with the house behind
I have a photograph like that.
of that. But that's in USA rather than Australia.
And the little boy is my sister, who everybody used to say was a little boy.
Ah,
And a couple of hair.
right. Because I know I've got like shorts on, but I've got this hat on in the photo. Is that correct?
That's
And so therefore I was looking and going, it's a little boy. But okay. So if everyone thought your sister was a little boy, then let's work with that. But would you understand then? I kept feeling as if I wanted to also talk about Australia. So is there another connection that would associate us to Australia? Not necessarily there with your parents then?
no.
No? Okay. Right, bear with me 1 second. Let me just see where we're going with this. But I know that both the lady and the gentleman are in the spirit world, okay? And can I ask you, please, did your dad have a very unusual sense of humour? Because as I wanted to talk about the two of them, I almost wanted to turn my fingers round and do a bit of a Winston Churchill V. And I felt that at times he would have kind of, as Winston Churchill had quite a cut in humour, and sometimes it wasn't necessarily that funny, I kind of get the feeling that Dad had that same kind of humour and must have had that kind of understanding about politics and history and things like that as well, okay? Because I know that as I'm getting all of this and as it's coming together, there is this sense of great pride in your dad that he worked and did the very, very best of things that he could try and do. You know, and if there was a man who was never afraid of hard work, it would be your father. And I don't necessarily mean that it's always physical work, but also that it's much of the mental work of getting stuff done, okay? Because I know that as he's bringing in this, have you recently looked at this photo or gone through where the photos are? Because he keeps bringing the photo back and putting it in my hand like, you've seen this, you've looked at this, you've connected with this. And I feel that as he's talking about this as well, I'm not aware of anything to do with the passing of your father, but I keep now, I've got a problem with my chest at the moment, but I keep wanting to bring myself to not being able to swallow properly and having difficulties in that way. But your father wasn't one to dwell on health. He didn't like to dwell on health. He didn't talk about health. When he was very ill, he didn't even talk about the fact he was very ill.
That's correct.
Okay? Because he said that's not important. What's important is getting on and doing. Oh, stoic, your dad.
Yes.
Getting on and doing.
Yes.
Can't say that on the platform. I haven't got time for all this health nonsense. There's far too much to do. And I know that as he talks about that, he said that's almost how you've been. Although you're a different kettle of fish to your dad, the stoicism of I've just got to get on regardless is something that you very much got from him.
Yes.
Okay? Because I wouldn't have said you and your father are alike in the certain ways, but in the stoicism you are. And in the brain, bless him, he said, and in the brain, and in the brain. But I know that the creativity comes from elsewhere, you see. Yeah. But I know that it's this lovely marriage of the two in you. Okay. Is your sister still here?
Yes.
Okay. Because hang on. Because I know that he's wanting to put encouragement round her. So I don't know how much communication you have with your sister at the moment, but I get this feeling if I just want to encourage her to keep pushing, not to sort of sit back and just let everything get to her. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Because it's this feeling of saying, I want you to push on. I want you to forge on. And I know in that, that back in your dad's side of the family, there is a very strong religious thread. I don't necessarily think your dad was religious, but I know that there's a strong religious thread around him.
That's correct.
Because I can hear the Onward Christian Soldiers song. And I know that he's almost putting that song and the you know, you got the army behind you to get things sorted. Yeah. But sometimes, yes, all right, I will do. Sometimes your sister becomes too independently minded.
Yes.
And won't listen.
Yes.
And won't be told.
Yes.
And won't accept help.
Yes.
So, you know, you're going to have to use a bigger nutcracker to crack the walnut, but you're going to get there, okay? Because there's part, he said there's just part of her that's weakening, okay? So just keep persevering. And, you know, you can always do it. It's done with love. It's not done because I'm nagging you. It's done with love.
Absolutely.
Okay? And that's your mum's words coming in.
Yeah.
Because your mum would not let an issue go if she felt that she needed to get a resolution to something. And your mum was the sort of person that said you don't go to bed on an argument.
Yes.
So she never slept for 36 years? No. But she... that's your dad's kind of joke that you come out with. We're not going to bed on an argument. Yeah, I've not slept for years. But I know that as she brings this in as well, your mum would just roll her eyes sometimes and think, what did I marry? But there's this love and this crazy bond between them that comes in because they literally are a chalk and a cheese couple. But again, there is great pride in all the family that's still here as well, and the family that's there now, as things are going. Now, I'm not certain this is to do with when you were there, but would you understand connections to New York? Loosely. And would you understand somebody who's very into art? Now, I know you're into art, but someone who's into things like Basquiat and all the New York sort of pop culture artists. Because I'm seeing artwork like the Keith Haring artwork and Basquiat and Warhol and all of that sort of, all of the pop art that came out from that city. And I just feel there's a gentleman in the spirit world who travelled to America on more than one occasion that you know, and this comes as a friendship, not as family.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And would have gone to art galleries and to go and see these pop art and very, very he's as colourful as the artwork he went to see. Okay? Yes. He's as colourful as the artwork he wanted to see. And I know that as he brings this in, he's talking about this expression of the joy of life.
Lovely, yes.
Okay? And that's what art is. An expression of life. But he said the joy of life. Not because art can be all sorts of things, can't it? But I know that he's talking about this joy of life. And I know here as well, please, can I ask you, are you working on something that's going to be on display?
Yes.
Okay, and because he's talking about bringing the joy into that, okay, and he's just bringing that in here as well. Would you understand? Have you done a painting that's a hand-in-hand kind of thing, or would you understand where that relates around him? Because I'm seeing hands connecting and it being significant. Now it might be that he's connecting to you and he's showing this, you know, like the Adam and God hands, but done in a modern art style. But there's something about that. Bear with me 1 second. Does that doesn't make sense, does it? No.
Yes.
No. No. If I went into this guy's house, there would be a mixture of popular art and classical art.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'd have statue things and I'd have art things. And in his house is one of these, the Davids.
Right.
Not the David, the Adam and God. But I know that there's a twist on it.
Right.
It wasn't the classical. Okay? But I know that as he's showing this, he's wanting you to mix, because I've not seen your artwork or anything, so I don't know, but he's wanting you to mix the classical and the modern.
Right.
Okay? So there's going to be classical elements, modern elements.
Nice and clear.
All about joy. All about joy. But it's is it you who's also illustrated plants, or do you know who that was?
I had done in the past.
You have done, okay. Because I was just seeing beautiful botanical plant drawings as well. So he knows everything about what's going on. Okay, they know what's going on there. And, oh, that's interesting. But that's an American thing. Would you understand, he's showing me a sobriety chip. You know, in America, they get given coins for however long they're clean or sober. So I don't know why he shows me that, whether he had an issue around that or whether there was someone who has been long-term.
If you find that's a joke.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know. He's just getting this coin again. Look. Okay. So he just brings that in. But also, please, just as I leave with Mum and Dad and our friend here, I will do. I don't know the story of it. I'm hearing a reference to the Winslow Boy, which I know was a film or a book years ago. And so can you go away and have a look at why that would be significant? I don't know whether it was about a boy going off to a school or something. Is it?
If I may.
Yes.
Just to tell you, I have a friend who's very, very unwell and isn't going to make it, we're told.
Right.
He's been around for now 3 weeks when we were told he was going to die 3 weeks ago, and he lives in Winslow.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a reference to, because I just heard Winslow Boy, okay? So if that's where the connection might be, then just aware that they're bringing that in then for you, because that's not something I'd normally hear. So let me leave their love, their affection with you. Look forward to the artwork. Keep pressing on with your sister.
Jimmy.
Thank you, bless you. Right, let's have a look. Oh. We heard that all day yesterday. Gee whiz. I keep hearing Demis Roussos, save your love, my darling, save your... Now, I was at an event yesterday where that was played consistently throughout the entire day, but I know that I've got a gentleman here in the spirit world, and I know that he loves all of this music from around the sort of 60s and 70s. Marilyn, would you understand a gentleman who loved things like Demis Roussos and all of the... like Nana Muscuri and all people like that? Would you understand that?
Maybe.
Because I feel that this gentleman, you know, when someone has the radio on constantly in the background and croons along with it, and because my granddad used to hum to everything that was on, but I know this gentleman likes a little warble while he's listening to the radio. And I've got these songs, but it's almost like I'm taking the tittle out of Demis Roussos, because I'm going to save your love, my darling, and he's making people laugh around him. So there's a good sense of humour. Would that make sense?
Not sure.
Not sure. Let me just check. My lady sat in front, so you've got the flowers. Yes. Would that make sense to you? No. Okay. Bear with me 1 second, because I know that as I have this gentleman. I know this man's had a lot of problems with his mobility towards the end of his life here, and I feel that the radio became his friend. He didn't want to sit and watch TV, he wanted the radio on before his passing, and he's listening to all this music that's being played of all these different eras.
That doesn't ring a bell.
That doesn't ring a bell. Okay, bear with me. Would someone else understand this? Because I know that this is going back, so if it's Demis Roussos and everything, we're going back to 80s or 70s, don't know. But I know that this gentleman's talking about being in his bed, not being able to get out and go and do, and he's having to listen to the radio, but he always was a radio listener. And I know that there is this problems that this is to do not only with arthritic thing, but also muscle problems, that he hasn't got the strength in his muscles. Who'd understand this? You need to work quick with me if it starts to make sense to you. No? Okay. I know this gentleman's being cared for at home. This isn't in a hospital. This is being cared for at home. But I kind of feel like I've got my wife is there looking after me. She's taking care of me. But I really do feel as if I'm not enjoying being a patient at all. No one understands this with either mother or father or grandparent, please. I don't think it'd be grandparent because it's not the right era of music. No? But you understand, but when this gentleman would have been up and well, he would have always had this on in the background and would have always been sort of singing along, humming along, whistling along, because I feel that he's quite lively. When he's not in the bed, before that, he's a more lively man, he's a more buoyant man. But then when he's in the bed, the radio's his friend. Would that make sense? Would the era fit? Yes. The era would fit, okay. Bear with me 1 second then.
I can't work it out. Maybe.
Maybe as well, potentially. Okay. Both of you just then listen, okay? Because we're going back sort of 1980s maybe or 70s that's here. So both listen just for a moment and we'll see where we go. Because I also feel that with this gentleman, the memories of him are all about not the times in the bed. I don't want to think about him in the bed. I want to remember him when he's well, when he's happy, when we've enjoyed ourselves together. Potentially, but yes, definitely. Okay, still listen, but I kind of feel drawn more here. But still listen just in case. Because I know that as he's talking about things, did he decorate? Was he a decorator? Or decorated a lot? Renovating, okay. See, might be having the double then. Okay, bear with us, we might have a double. Because you see, my granddad was a decorator as well. You see, so that's where when I started thinking about my granddad as well. So I know that as he's talking about this, would you hang on a second? Would you understand where I want to do more around the house and make the house better, or where I'm living? Because I get this feeling as if I want to come in and help you sort it all out. And if I was here, no matter how old I was, I'd still be getting up a ladder and trying to do everything for you. Okay, but I know as well. Then when I come back to you, then. There is also the desire to change things in it to do with home, but it's not necessarily always about decoration. Okay, So we've got this double. That's nice, fabulous. See, two birds with one stone. How fabulous! So I know though that with your gentleman as he comes in here, he was. You have to be very methodical with everything, and his mind is very methodical. But I know here he's saying that there has been issues for you of trying to get your head around how you're going to approach things and how you're going to deal with things, because you can't. It's almost like you can't see what the first step is to get everything going. And he's trying to bring in here a clarity of mind that says, okay, what you've got to do is sit and write everything down. Well, at the moment, you're trying to juggle it here, okay? And he said, so if you write it all down, if you plan it all out, he said, then your mind's able to be clearer to see what you're looking at. At the moment, it's just this, it's jumble, okay? No, he's not being rude about your mind. He's just saying it's all jumble. Okay, that's interesting. Would you understand? Would it be his wife that was interested in like churches and jumble sales and all of that? Yeah. Because all of a sudden he kept saying jumble, and then I was seeing a whole table of all this clothing put out and people going crazy trying to find bargains. So we can get you doing jumble sales here. No. It's the bane of most churches, jumble. Jumble and bric-a-brac, the bane of every church. But I know that as they're bringing this in, there's a lot of sorting out as well that goes hand in hand with this. And that's why it's all a bit overwhelming, okay? So write it all down, plan it all out, and do a little something a day rather than this, okay? I like his humour, because he, even when he's in bed and he's not at his best, he's still trying to be happy and funny and jovial. But the frustration for him, this is not me. I don't lie and do nothing, okay? So let me leave his love and affection with you. Let me come back to you now, honey. So I know that as we were saying here about wanting to help and wanting to do things, but there's a very, very different feeling around here than with my other lady there, that we've kind of got to clear the pathway a bit more ahead of you, because it's kind of like, well, I'm uncertain. It's like, you know, when you're at a roundabout and it's got about 8 or 9 different directions off of it, there gets this feeling of like, I'm there, but I just don't know where to go because there's so many things that I couldn't possibly, and how do I even narrow it down, and how do I even know? And you see, he was quite decisive. If he set his mind to something, he stayed on track until it was finished. He wouldn't be diverted, okay? And there's this kind of thing of just choose one. Doesn't mean you can't come back. But until you start, you're still round the roundabout, okay? So choose what feels right for you. Don't wait for everyone else here to tell you, or everyone else here to tell you, because everyone else here is going to have a different opinion. And sometimes that's what's caused the problem, because I've got too many pieces of advice, okay? Get on and do what you know you'd need to do, what's right for you at the moment, okay? Would you was he a tea and biscuits man? Because I've got like a pack of biscuits just going bum 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 bum, and I kind of feel that's almost in a day. They're just all gone. It's literally 3 or 4 with every mug of tea, and I've had about 7 or 8 mugs of tea, so the whole packet of biscuits has gone. But I know that as he brings this, it's a sweet tooth as well. It's all about the sweetness in life, and there's things here to say to you about the sweetness in life. You know, when Lawrence said about worship and joy and everything, it's about joy. So these things, as you're looking around, don't think, what does the logical head say about, well, that's more safe, that's more secure. Think about where the joy and the sweetness lies. Okay? Let me leave that with you. I know you're going to call me Tom. Can I have another quick one?
You can have a quick.
Can I come and talk to my lady here? Hello? Yes. Hello? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm not.
That's all right. Oh, wait, wait.
He wants to talk to me.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're going to get into your own now. This is going to be fab. Because I've got a lady here in the spirit world, and as I'm aware of this lady, I'm aware of her wearing a very small ring on her little finger. So I know that this ring, you know, sometimes when your hands swell and people can't wear rings, I know this lady had this problem, okay? And I feel that as she's coming in here, she's trying to bring in, I feel this is like a grandmother to you, okay? Yeah. But I know that she's bringing healing for, I'm assuming, Mum and you, okay? And as she comes in here, there's a real sense of wanting to give you the encouragement to fight and to fight and to fight. Okay? And I know that when she was here on the earth, she was a force to be reckoned with. Okay? She had a way about her of defying all the odds. No matter what, if a doctor told her that's it, she'd go, bloody ain't it? You know, that's not it. Sorry, bloody on a Sunday, but there you go. But I know that she's got this real spirit and power, and I know that you have that as well. You're like her, and in all the best possible ways. Okay. Oh, bless you. Can you grab a tissue? Like
They say I look just like her.
I think you do, my darling, because I know that as she comes in here, but there should be this little ring. Now, if you haven't got this ring, do you know where, is this with your mum? It's like a very tiny little, almost like a Victorian-y ring. It's a tiny little thing, okay? But just be aware that even if you can't wear it on a hand, because I think it's even too tiny for anyone's fingers, really, it's only weird, but wear it round your neck or something. Carry a little bit of her with you, okay? Because I know that you carry her here.
I'm trying to remember if she's given me anything.
Okay.
I don't know.
Don't worry. Have a little think,
I think
yes?
this might be given to me when we sort through the jewellery.
Okay.
So I think it's to come.
So have a little look and see, darling. Have a little. But she's saying if you don't have to wear it on fingers, you can wear it around here, okay? Because I know that as she brings this as well, she's just bringing that strength and that love and that appreciation for you, you know, and for everything that you've gone through. And I want to talk about you. I know Mum's going through stuff, but I know that I want to talk about you going through stuff. And I know that as she brings this, she said, for all the stuff you do for everyone else, and even while you've not been at your best, you've been trying to put yourself out for others. You understand? Which is exactly what your nan did. She said, totally me. And she said, but she said, brighter days are there. Brighter days are there.
I'm about
Okay.
to start a new job.
Beautiful.
And all through that, she was guiding me. I felt her there with me.
They're only ever a
She
thought
knew
away.
I had to get out of my last job
Mm.
because of it. It was like there was someone there who was picking
Yeah.
at me quite a lot, and I think she saw that and thought, this is time. You need to get out.
Totally. But just know, brighter days ahead. You'd also understand with your nan. Would you understand why Somewhere Over the Rainbow has significance, the song?
Yeah.
Okay, because she also just brings that in.
That's my song.
And I also hear her talking. Did she have little dancing ladies statues? Do you understand? Because she just brings. Okay.
Fairies and things.
Because I'm just bringing one of these in. Choose your favourite. You don't have to keep everything. Choose your favourite. But I see this little dancer, and I know there's this feeling of wanting to say to you, no matter what happens, just think of it as a dance. You just keep moving. You don't stop. It's when you stop that we have the problems. Okay? And I know in your nan's life that there is this feeling with her that nothing stopped her. And literally, right up to the point I'm leaving this world, I'm still doing and sorting out and trying to help other people. I am not going to give in. Okay? And I know that the same comes here for you. You will not give in. You are stronger than you think. You're stronger than me, she says. And I was forced to be reckoned with. All right? So, you know, just take what Nan says there. I also feel that... did you used to make things like little lavender pillows or something with your grandmother? Did you?
At some point, we used to make things together.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. We used to do, and also Mum did as well.
Ah, okay.
But it with Mum, I think it was like the little clothes. But Nanny, she got me into jewellery making.
Okay, that's fine.
So-
Because all I know is there's just this thing to do with lavender pillows. So that was with you.
We always had a really old lavender bush.
And cut it and saved it. Perfect. So let me just talk to you as well then, Mum. Hang on 1 second. Because I know that she's bringing this in, and I know that the peace and the calm for lavender. Okay? Is it? Oh, there you go. Because she's just wanting to bring in the love, the calm, the peace, okay, that brings. And just to give you peace of mind so you can sleep easy. Because I know she says, you've worried and worried. Don't worry. Try not to worry. I know it's easy to say don't worry to someone who's worrying, isn't it? And you think it's all right for you. You're not the one who's worrying. But I know that she would say that. She'd say now, send your thoughts out. Ask for the help. Send the worries out. say a little prayer, send it out. Okay?
Talk to every night.
Perfect. Well, she hears. So she give me it, and then you can rest easy. You can rest easy. I also see it like a china heart. I don't know whether it's a dish on a table. I don't think it's an ashtray because it's too pretty for that. But it's a little china heart. So it might be a trinket dish. Have a look. If you can't bring it to mind, have a little look. You'll find it.
She's got lots of stuff.
Yeah. I think Knick Knack Queen probably comes into the, but I just have the feeling because everything has a memory, and she didn't wait. If someone gave her something, she couldn't bear to give it away because it was a link to them. Okay, and that's why. And you said, and there'd be stuff in the house saying, "Why on earth would you keep this?" Well, so and so gave me that when they were only so and so years old, and so therefore that's why it's being kept because everything was loved and cherished. Everything was loved and cherished. From the silliest things to the most beautiful things. Everything had its pride of place. Okay? Everything had its pride of place. Not that there were many places to put anything more down. But I know that if she brings in this, the home and the love in the home is still there. Okay? My love still radiates around you. Alright? So let me leave her love and her affection. Know that she's doing and supporting. You know, I know you said you talked to her, so just keep doing that. And just know that she's there. Say God bless to both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of both myself and those in the spirit world, I'd like to say thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. Beautiful, beautiful. A few notices for the week. This Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we've got an additional Wednesday in the month. So we're going to have an evening of mediumship with Barbara Breeze. Slight change to the programme next weekend. The workshop that was advertised has been called off. So we have now an evening of mediumship. We've got Sandra Mitchell Aetherius down with us for the weekend from London. So next Saturday at 7 o'clock there'll be an evening demonstration of mediumship with Sandra. She'll also be here to take our Sunday morning service at 11 o'clock and is available for private sittings after the service. Monday week is healing night, so not tomorrow night. Monday week is our healing night, so all our church healers. We've got a bank holiday off, yay! Because every bank holiday this year it's worked out it's been a healing night, so you've actually got one off legitimately, so how wonderful. Going further ahead into September, we've got a weekend with Val Hood and Karen Wood. Val is over here from Australia and doing a bit of a tour of the UK, so she's with us, both with us, from Friday the 22nd through to Sunday the 24th, and that will include a couple of workshops, private sittings, an evening dem, and of course taking our divine service. Our wonderful people out there watching us online, next Sunday, so a week today, at 6:30 GMT, we will start presenting a Zoom divine service once a month, first Sunday of the month, and we'll have a host of guests from across the world taking part of that service. If you want the Zoom codes, they are available on the Facebook adverts, but they're also available as a permanent link on our website. So just go on the website, look for the tab Online Services, hey presto, you are in the room. So how wonderful is that? That concludes the notices, so I'd like to hand over to Mark again for the closing blessing. Thank you, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once more, let us just close our eyes and open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, we thank you for this time that we have shared together, knowing that the love of the spirit world is as close and ever present as it has always been. Let us take their love, their healing, their inspiration with us out into the world. Let us share our love, let us share our understanding, let us share our kindness and our joy. Let us share our wisdom and our knowledge, just as they have done with us. And so, as always, we thank you for all that we have experienced as we've sat here, all the healing, the inspiration, the guidance of the other world, and ask that their love, their strength, and their wisdom goes with us into each and every day. Guard and guide us safely until we meet again. Amen.
Amen. Mark, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm sure you'll all agree That was beautiful. And doesn't it make a difference when we allow people to give philosophy for as long as the spirit dictates?
And that was short, really. for
Yeah,
me.
well, it was great. It was just wonderful. And, you know, the intelligence of spirit, then getting in those extra links there, the double link, it just, you know what?
I don't know what
It's
they're
just
doing.
amazing and beautiful, beautiful philosophy.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. Now, it's party time. Yay! Few instructions. You must be no. Very shortly, I'll get the barbecues lit. There's obviously going to be a wee bit of time here for waiting for those to heat up, so mill around and have a chat. If I could ask Sue to organise a few people to start getting the food out there, please. There's one table next to the barbecue, so that's where all the cooking stuff will go. And the other long table is where all the other bits and salads will go. So if I can leave that in your capable hands. Pauline will
That's all right.
deal with you in a second.
I'm just about to be dealt with. How nice.
And yeah, absolutely. Have a wonderful day. If you're not staying, thank you very much for coming. If you are staying, just have a good time and enjoy yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You all right, sweet? What you needed to.
Yeah, it was just like,
Funny. Hello, sweet. How you doing?